Yo, what's going on, guys? The SSN back again with another video. I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope that you're having a great day so far. Now, as you guys can see from the title, there is some massive news that we're going to have to talk about, and I'm sorry I'm getting it to you a little bit late. I was a little bit busy today. News did break about this subject this morning, but I'm going to get it to you now, and hopefully, you guys have lots of opinions still that we can talk about down in the comments. So, first things first, if you guys are interested in the channel, if you like the content that we have here, definitely subscribe down below if you like to. Hit the bell icon for notifications so you can catch all of our videos when they release. And if you guys are interested in stuff like mock drafts, free agency recaps for all teams, not just the Dolphins, tons of Dolphins reviews, content, stuff like that. And I also did just start doing Madden content on the channel, which I'll be releasing as regularly as I possibly can. Subscribe, because I've got a lot of that new stuff coming for you guys, and I'm really excited about it. So we're growing towards the first 1,000 subs. Really exciting. And when we do, I've got a lot of big news, big stuff coming, including some merch. Here, might be a little bit easier to see. Got some merch. I made it for myself, for my fiance, a couple other people. But as we hit that 1,000, I'm going to hopefully be dropping merch, something to support the channel, give you guys something back too for supporting. So let's go ahead and talk about the video. Let's talk about this Deshaun Watson situation. Now, the rumor of Deshaun Watson being not interested in Houston anymore has been around for a while, but the whole Dolphins situation just really surfaced today, and I'm on board with it. I think just to kind of get it right out there in the beginning of the video, I'm on board with Deshaun Watson, and I'll tell you guys why. Now, there are reservations that I have about trading for Deshaun Watson. There's two main reservations, and I think anybody, who knows anything about football is going to understand and probably have the same reservations. So, number one, the one problem that I may have with a trade getting Deshaun Watson is the money, the cap situation. Now, Deshaun Watson for the 2021 season, only $16 million. That's super cheap. That's a steal. For a quarterback of his caliber, $16 million is dirt cheap. That's a great deal. But once we approach 2022 is when it jumps up to $40 million. So that's a massive pay increase, a massive amount of cap space gone on one player. And then following that year, I think it goes up to $44 million. So that's a ton of money to be paying out to a quarterback, ton of money to be paying out to anybody. But he certainly is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I mean, top 10 for sure, if not pushing top 5. I really think that he's starting to establish himself as one of those top echelon type guys. He's cream of the crop. So that would be my first reservation. And it really just depends on whether you think it's worth paying one player that kind of money, or would you rather kind of accumulate a bunch of players that are good, not great, and paying them less and kind of just building up more depth on the team. So the first problem I think that anybody would run into is the money. Are we willing to pay out potentially $44 million in 2022? Now, after that situation drops down to 37 mil, and beyond that, I think the next year drops down to 32 mil. So it kind of tapers down towards the end. It plateaus at 2022. But those 2 years, that's a ton of money for one guy. So that's my first problem. Second problem, which I think might even be the bigger issue, is what will be the asking price for Deshaun Watson? Now, as I said, he's certainly one of the best quarterbacks in the league, pushing the envelope of the top 5 guys in the league. I mean, he is fantastic. And he did prove that he could do it this year with not a lot of help. They traded away DeAndre Hopkins, don't have much at running back. Offensive line is not the best aside from Laramie Tunsil. And this year, he put out one of those seasons to prove, I think it's the mark of a great player. When anybody can be great with a great team around them. Anybody can be great. I don't think it's a hard thing to do. If you're a football player, it's not hard to succeed and exceed expectations sometimes when you have a fantastic team around you, when you have weapons left and right and a good offensive line and consistent run game. But when all those things go away and you don't have much to work with, what really marks whether you're great or not is whether you could do that or not without a lot of help. And Deshaun Watson did that this season. Led the league in passing yards, was right up there in passing touchdowns, did not throw a lot of picks. I think he established himself through this year as a great player. And so what are the Texans going to possibly ask for Deshaun Watson, for a great player who, if he can do this kind of season with not a lot of help, could he potentially do with a ton of help, with new draft picks, with tons of free agents, with just a revamped offensive scheme? What could he do with that kind of team. There's really no telling. The ceiling is limitless, it seems like, for Watson. So Houston, I'm sure, is going to ask just for a massive amount of, guys, picks, money, whatever in return. There's going to be a lot. It's going to be a high asking price is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's the foremost issue to me, at least in this Deshaun Watson situation, is what is Houston going to ask for, and what would Miami be willing to part with? So, in my own assessment of the situation, I don't really see a scenario where Houston doesn't ask for their third overall pick back, because we did get it from the Laramie Tunsil trade. They gave us 2 first-round picks for him, and I have a hard time going over what everything looks like for Miami and what Houston has. I just have a hard time imagining that in that scenario, Houston doesn't say, give us our third overall pick back, send it back to us, you can have Watson. Maybe we have to add in a couple more pieces, players, whatever. But I think that's going to be pretty much the groundwork of that trade. I think that's going to be at the center of the whole thing, is potentially that third overall pick. And it's just a matter of whether Miami's willing to part with that or not. And I want to know your guys' opinion down below. If Houston were to ask a super high price, third overall pick, throw in Tua, maybe a second rounder, would you guys be willing to part with all of those pieces, all of that, potential? Would you be willing to part with that for a player who can definitely do it right now for you? So I'm going to give you all of that and then tell you my reason why I think it's something worth pulling the trigger on. Now, obviously, ideal scenario, number one, best case would be Miami could send away Tua. We could retain that third overall pick and somehow still get Deshaun Watson. I don't think that's likely. I think it's highly unlikely that something like that happens. I just don't think Tua has done enough at this point in his career. He only had 1 season as a rookie. He struggled a lot. I don't think that he's the foundation for a trade at all involving Deshaun Watson. Shipping him out of Miami, to me, Tua feels like a throw-in. He feels like just, okay, well, if we trade for Deshaun Watson, we don't need Tua. They will need a quarterback, so we'll have to ship him out to Houston. But I don't think Tua is the foundation, the groundwork of a trade between Miami and Houston. I really, really think it's that third overall pick. Now, like I said, ideal scenario, we could ship out the 18th pick. We could ship out Tua, maybe a first rounder next year. I just think the asking price is going to be a ton for Watson, but it should be. You don't trade away the most important position on a football team and someone who does it, to great lengths, someone who's fantastic at what he does. You don't trade that away for nothing. You don't trade it for peanuts, unless if you're Bill O'Brien. And Bill O'Brien's gone now. So, I think there's going to be a little bit more logic involved on Houston's side. And I think they're going to probably assess the situation as Deshaun Watson for Tua. That's not a trade that we're willing to make. You're going to have to spice it up a little bit. You're going to have to do something else to make it more interesting. So at the end of the day, the third overall pick, I think, is the foundation, the groundwork of that trade. And if that were the scenario, I think even still, to some extent, I would be willing to do that. And the reason why is not because I don't think that we're going to pick up a ton with that third overall pick. I think there's massive talent waiting at that third overall pick. But at the end of the day, whether we get a receiver, whether we get Penei Sewell, whether we get another offensive lineman, or we go defense, or anything else that we could possibly take in the draft, you're taking guys who have the potential, who have the talent, sure, but are not 100% proven. You could get as close to proven as possible, but that doesn't mean that you are proven in the NFL on that next level, taking that next step to be with the big boys, to play pro football. There's no telling sometimes if guys are going to pan out or not. And to trade away Tua, who has not proven himself yet, and a pick, and maybe potential other picks or other players, you're getting a guy in return who you're not wondering, you're not hoping, you're not guessing, you're not crossing your fingers and hoping that guy's going to pan out. Beyond the shadow of a doubt, it's a fact that Deshaun Watson can do it right now, has done it right now, and barring injuries, God forbid, he would do it right now. And so I think that's the question that you have to ask in this whole, potential trade situation is, to you have to weigh, you have to weigh it against itself. Would you rather hang on to someone like Tua and try to build more through the draft and hope that those guys pan out, because there's no guarantee. Nobody knows at this, current moment that Tua is the long-term future answer at quarterback. Nobody knows that for sure. Everybody's hoping for that because they like Tua and they're on his side and they wanted Miami to draft him, and that's great. That's fine. You can hope that. But nobody knows right now. On the other end of it, you know that Deshaun Watson could do it right now, has done it right now, is doing it right now. And so coming to Miami, who frankly to me has more weapons than Houston did this last year, as long as they're healthy, I think Deshaun Watson makes a massive difference on this offense, on this team. So to me, and I know I'm different than a lot of people. Some people might agree, some people might disagree. But to me, I think it's more worth taking that opportunity now to know that you have an answer than kind of sit on your hands and hope that you have an answer. Because with Tua, you don't know. With Tua, there's extensive injury history. With Tua, you can look back on his rookie year and say, well, it wasn't a good rookie year. Frankly, at the end of the year, when you go back, you recap, you watch the games over again, which I've done all of those, I just don't think that Tua had a good rookie year. I think that he made a lot of mistakes. There were a lot of things that weren't done right. And then going back and reevaluating Deshaun Watson's career with similar type weapons, even lesser in some cases, he did the most with it. He did the best with it. And so to trade away the potential for the right now, knowing that you've got that, and it's not like you're trading for an old player. It's not like you're, Indianapolis picking up Phillip Rivers, who could do it right now, but you got 1 year, maybe 2 at the very most. You kind of have just one shot with the guy. Deshaun Watson's 25. Deshaun Watson is signed long term. Deshaun Watson's going to be around doing it really well for a long time. And so getting rid of the potential for the guarantee and knowing that you've got that guy long term and he's young and he doesn't get injured and he does it with no talent. If you got that guy and then we're able to surround him through free agency, through the draft, with formidable players, with guys who can actually go out there and produce and stay healthy and do their job to the best of their, possibilities, I think the future for Miami looks brighter in that situation than in its current state, even with that 3rd overall pick. And a lot of people will disagree. A lot of people will think I don't know what I'm talking about. And I get that. I understand. Everyone has their own opinions on the situation. And it's a really loaded situation too. There's a lot of complications, a lot of things to consider when you're talking about Deshaun Watson. But that's my overall take. I would be down with a Deshaun Watson a Deshaun Watson trade. I would be down to send out Tua. I would be down to send out that 3rd overall pick, but not a ton more than that. I think if Houston were asking for both of our 1st round picks this year, I wouldn't want to do it because that's to me just a little bit too much to be giving up. But if for whatever reason we were able to pull it off, keeping one of our 1st round picks this year, maybe sending away future picks and Tua, I would be happy with that because I know that right now we get something that produces right now and somebody who's going to be there for a long time doing it. And it's not just a question. It's not just hopes, not just dreams. So that's my opinion. That's what I think. And I would really love to know your guys' opinion on it as well down below. So leave your comments, leave your thoughts. If you think I'm right, wrong, anything like that, tell me down below, and I'd love to talk to you guys about it. So I appreciate you stopping by. I've got an end of the year review also for the Dolphins coming out before I end the video. Wanted to tell you guys in the next couple of days here, I'm going to try to film and get out kind of like a 2020 season recap for the Dolphins. Things that I liked, I didn't like, things that I think we could improve on, maybe possible trade scenarios, free agent targets, all that good stuff. So a lot of videos coming out very soon. Last year's free agency was super loaded, so I've got a ton of stuff coming for you guys. I appreciate you stopping by, and as I said, subscribe if you're interested in the channel, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Have a great night, guys. I'll see you next time, and as always, fins up.